My own opinion is that niqab is highly undesirable. I think that we live in a society where people do show their faces, where huge amounts of our social interaction depend on people showing their faces. I think that it's very difficult to enforce a ban in public places like streets, but it should be certainly a desirable thing to discourage its wearing.
To impose a ban, but in principle you'd like to see one because you think in Britain it's unacceptable.
In public buildings, in courts, in schools and places like this, absolutely, I think a ban would be very sensible. In streets and so on, I think it's difficult, but it should be societally discouraged.
A debate was held in East London whether the niqab should be banned. The niqab is that thing that women wear in Islam, which covers their entire face but their eyes, if it should be banned in England. This was a debate that Douglas Murray took part of and Muslim women took part of. Let's watch and see what they had to say.
Just begin with you, Fatima.
Yes.
56% of British people don't really support the wearing of the full face veil in public. They don't want it.
Well, I think it depends on where you take the poll, really, because, something that I've recently launched is a project called Secrets of a Muslim Woman, and it's all about letting people know why we do what we do, because I think a lot of it is to do with not really being familiar with it. You know, I mean, my message to the British public is that you've got nothing to fear. You know, this is a piece of cloth.
They don't feel that, though, do they? Because elsewhere in this poll, a majority said they don't know how to relate to a woman wearing a full face veil.
I think, you know, the people who have actually interacted with women who wear the face veil, people who work with them. I mean, we're in East London today. In East London, the veil is practically, you know, normal on the streets of East London.
Because it was occupied by the immigrants. Of course, it's normal.
Who've actually interacted and worked with women who wear the veil have absolutely no problem with it. I think it's the fear of the unknown.
Douglas Murray, would you like to see the veil banned here?
Well, I think, like a majority of British people, I think that it should be banned in public places, particularly places like courtrooms, where it's absolutely imperative that a jury are able to see the faces of people who are accused. As for an overall ban, I think, look, my own opinion is that niqab is highly undesirable. I think that we live in a society where people do show their faces, where huge amounts of our social interaction depend on people showing their faces. I think that it's very difficult to enforce a ban in public places like streets, but it should be certainly a desirable thing to discourage its wearing.
To impose a ban, but in principle you'd like to see one because you think in Britain it's unacceptable.
In public buildings, in courts, in schools and places like this, absolutely, I think a ban would be very sensible. In streets and so on, I think it's difficult, but it should be societally discouraged.
Fatima?
No, a ban, I mean, I think it's a complete overreaction. Look, the niqab has been part of the British landscape for the last 20-odd years, OK? Muslim women have been going about their business. We've got a radio presenter here, we've got a scientist, we've got talented Muslim women who've got a lot to give to this society, who've been doing so and been very sensible about it. When we need to remove our face veils, we do it. But how do you think we get through airport security?
I mean, what about the fact that 56% of people are saying they don't want it here?
You know what? I'm not surprised at all, because when you know that high-profile politicians making such...
Sahar, it's my name. The difference is that my face is uncovered.
Offensive comments and big fuss about it. I am not surprised when the public say they are against it.
We show our faces.
Exactly. The British society, the fabric of the British society is respecting the public freedom.
We are
British.
British.
Public freedom is part of it, the religious freedom.
What about the fact that people feel uneasy? They said they don't know how to relate to women who have their faces covered.
First of all, let them interact with us. Let us be open and engaging with them. This is number one. Secondly, 80% of communication in the world does not involve face-to-face.
What?
Twitter, Facebook, phones doesn't involve face-to-face communications.
I'm sorry.
The issue is the problemization here. It's not existent problem at all.
I'm sorry. I worked in this area for 7 years, about 15 years ago, and this was not, as you said, a norm. This has been imported and exported for reasons which we haven't got time to go into. We live in a society, in this society, and we live in a country which is very, very complicated. And to shut yourself off as if the rest of us are infections and cutting...
How are we do not
This is the meaning.
We are engaged. We are active. How are we shut off?
Shalina, you have said that in engaging with your elderly white neighbour who feels uneasy, sometimes you remove the veil. When you worked with children, you remove the veil. Isn't that an acknowledgement that it is difficult for people to engage with women who have their faces covered?
Yeah, I think it is. And I also honour what Douglas Murray has just said. He couldn't actually feel comfortable, and, you know, I'm making a presumption here, but you couldn't say, let's do an outright ban. And that's great, because I understand you look at social cohesion. It's about looking at, let's isolate it. Whose discomfort are we going to favour? Because if I lift my veil, I'm then uncomfortable. And we've favoured someone's discomfort.
We live in a society, but I don't believe in the French ban. I don't think you should do that.
But why not?
Absolutely.
If you're opposed to it,
No,
if you
I think there is
it's...
a very simple way of saying, and a non-racist way of saying, in public institutions, everybody, whoever they are, must show their faces. It's Muslim exceptionalism that is becoming the problem.
No, it's not.
If we have the same rule for everybody, and at home, on the streets, I don't want people stopped. Okay?
We accommodate religious expression in this country. You know, Jehovah's Witnesses who don't want blood transfusions, Sikh people who want to wear turbans. We make exceptions, you know.
But they're still not covering their faces. Your eyes are the only thing that could be seen. I have no idea what you look like. What if you commit a crime? How do we find you? What if you stab? How do we find you? It's absurd. You should not be wearing your niqab in public places. Wearing a turban still helps me identify the person. Wearing a yarmulke still helps me identify the person because I can see the face.
In certain situations. And so, look, you know, I really want to reach out to the public and say, you've got nothing to fear from us.
But take
We're British. I was born in this country.
How can she say this while wearing the niqab? We don't know what you look like. We can't trust you because we can't see your face. We need to see a face to resemble to a person.
I love this country.
Take up Yasmin's point that this is about exceptionalism.
Islam doesn't let you criticize. That's exactly the problem with Islam coming to Western countries. If Islam comes to Western countries and dominates, we are going to be in a serious problem. Imagine what it would be like criticizing the Prophet Muhammad. Imagine what it would be like criticizing the Sharia. Imagine what it would be like criticizing the Quran. They're not going to accept it. And all of us are going to get death threats because Islam is here to stay and you are here to convert to Islam. If not, we fight you. I think niqab should be banned in public places, especially in places like the West. You need to see who you're talking to. You need to see who's committing a crime. If they do commit a crime, faces are important to see. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. If you'd like to watch more of my stuff, please check out my channel down below. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification button so you can be notified every time I upload new content.